All right, welcome. So this video is productivity made easy. This video is all about productivity, and like in the title, I'm going to be explaining how to make it easy, how to make it something that doesn't seem so hard and difficult, right? Because being productive is actually just very enjoyable. It's very fun. It's not as deep and intense as people make it out to be. Real productivity is still relaxed, or is relaxed but still focused, still energized. However, you aren't tense. You aren't coming from a place of force, right? If When I talk about real productivity, if you are really being productive, what that means is you are actively able to work through the problems in your life, work through the tasks of your day, without this resistance that is so intense that it leads to procrastination. Resistance is always going to be there, but having a routine of productivity and learning how to be more productive overall is going to help you in the sense that it will make it easier to move through the resistance, because being productive, even when you aren't being productive on the thing that you might be feeling this resistance towards, will make working through resistance easier, right? Just being used to being productive most of the time will make it easier for when you realize there is something important you have to figure out or work on. Now you can be productive towards that. Versus when you aren't a very productive person overall and something comes up in your life, and in most cases you don't know what the fuck to do about it because you weren't productive leading up until this time, right? You weren't a productive person leading up until this time, and so you're not used to it. If you're used to productivity, when things come up that you need to work on, it makes it a lot easier. Another thing is that productivity itself is actually fun and enjoyable. This was the other point I just made, is that productivity is really fun, right? You don't have to make productivity hard and difficult. What should be difficult is the work, of course, that will be difficult, but just to be in a state of productivity shouldn't be a difficult thing. It should be a very enjoyable thing. It should feel like a flow state. I notice my brain almost gets cynical when I'm productive too long. It thinks that maintaining and sustaining this productivity will be negative in some sense or another. Whereas I found that it only becomes negative when you actually stop, right? So being productive only becomes a negative when you stop, because if you're being productive and you stop being productive, all of that energy is going to continue carrying itself out just in the non-productive activities. This is at least what I've found, is that when I'm actively more productive, it almost becomes easier for me to fall deeper into bad habits if I was to take a break or stop, because my brain is still in the state of wanting to continue achieving things, continue getting tasks done. And when that looks like productive tasks, this is great. When it looks like unproductive tasks, though, this can be harmful and detrimental. So productivity is fun and productivity is sustainable, right? It is our optimal state. The reason we seek out drugs and any type of stimulus or vice in the first place is because we lack a task or something to do throughout the day, at least for the majority of that day. And that lack of a task or that lack of something important to do leads us to seek that same fulfillment from other activities. So I have always been a procrastinator growing up. I didn't realize what this was at the time, but in school, I was always a big procrastinator. COVID happened and we were out of school for about a year. And my first year of high school was half of this like hybrid on and off year. So we started the year full time and with masks and everything, social distancing. And then a few months in, we had to go back home again because apparently there was another outbreak. And we were at home for another probably 5 months or so before we started going back for a hybrid learning, where we were half in school, half at home. And what I found was these 2 days in school, became the only 2 days I was getting work done. The other 3 days to me were just off days, and I would be home. I was snowboarding at the time, so I was out snowboarding. This was the first year I had my own seasons pass, so I was able to go all day, every day, as much as I wanted to. Or, I'm sorry, I correct myself. I had a night pass this season, so not all day, but every single night I was there from about 4 to 9. But I had the season pass, the night season pass, so I was going every single night, and I had just some things I was working on myself at home. I started making my bed, and I was like trying to be all productive and shit. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was just trying to be more productive and whatnot. So it wasn't like I was, just blowing off school. I was still doing productive things. It's just that when I wasn't there, I had no interest in it. So fast forward, what happened was the end of this year, we had 2 months fully in school. During these 2 months, I realized I'm failing all of my classes. Big surprise, considering I only completed 2/5 of each week's worth of work. So, I had basically pushed off all of this work until the future for so long that it got to be the end of the year, and I had all of this work piled up from all of my classes. And I procrastinated it until it was my last chance, my very last chance to turn in this work and get a grade for it. And all of this procrastination built up to a level of stress that forced me to then do the work. And long story short, I ended up passing that year just off of 1 or 2 days of making up all of the year's work. That's not an important part of the story, but the whole year I had opportunities to just get the work done and make it easy for myself, but I'd procrastinated it and pushed it off until the future. And this was when I first realized I might have a problem with procrastination. I did understand that due to being home, my brain couldn't really compute doing schoolwork from my home desk. So there was that, but also just the reality of wanting to avoid it because I had a way out. So because I had a way out, it was easy for me to go and try to avoid it. Fast forward until now, this still plagues me. This still haunts me, right? This procrastination, this intense procrastination, or at least it did until recently, where I had wanted to start a YouTube channel for years, and I never actually got around to doing it, right? I wanted to start a business for years, and I never actually got around to doing it because I didn't have the clarity, but also because I didn't really want to or know how to just sit down and do the work, right? So it became a problem for a personal goal of mine, and that's when I took it seriously. For whatever reason, I didn't care when it was school, but as soon as it was a personal goal, that's when I took it seriously. I realized I wasn't going to be able to achieve any of my personal goals if I couldn't overcome this procrastination issue. And so that's where we are now. I am a year and 6 months into having a YouTube channel and uploading consistently, except for I did take a break, which I'm not happy about necessarily. I didn't mean to take a full break like that, but I'm not mad at it either. It gave me time to reset. It gave me time to learn a lot. I was going through a self-improvement and fitness-focused block, so I was training a lot. I was just working a lot on myself, so a lot of growth in this period, but the one regret I have from this period is not uploading more consistently. However, other than that break, I have been completely consistent on my YouTube uploads, and I've been completely consistent on doing all of my work. I've been consistent on I'm creating a new course and a new program, which I am about to talk about in just a second. But I am creating and building a new program and a new course, or a new few courses. We'll put it that way for now, but I'm building a few courses, and I'm selling them as one program. But I've been consistent on that work. I've been consistent on my training, and my day-to-day life is just productivity, right? Most of the things I do are productivity based. If it's not productive, I'm usually not doing it. I'm trying to think. There aren't many habits in my day that are very unproductive. The least productive activity I'd say is probably cooking and eating, and obviously that's essential. So I try to keep my days as productive as possible. And that's easy for me now because of these tools I'm about to show you and about to give you in just a second. But before we get into that, I do just want to announce quickly my Academy of Self-Mastery is in production. It's in the works. It is a program, it's a product that is going to teach you guys exactly what I do to master and maximize your performance and your productivity and your progress in life. All right. So if you guys want to master self-improvement, if you guys want to learn more about the process, or just want essential tools in order to make the process easier, make more progress, take it further. And if you want to be able to work with me directly, you guys can go down to the link in the description and DM me on Instagram and say, hey man, I'm really excited about this program that you're talking about. I want to be able to get that early access. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, everybody who DMs me, and I have a few old clients I'm going to give this to as well. Everybody who DMs me is going to get the first link for the program when it goes live. And you guys will essentially be the first able to access it. The first 100 people within the program are going to get it for $50. It's going to be $50 a month, but the first few people in the program are going to get it for $50, the first 100. And then after that 100, I'm going to up the price again. So if you want that early access, and the reason the price is lower is because when you buy in early access, you're going to be getting less. Essentially, because not all of the courses are going to be complete yet. So you're buying it at a lower price, but you get access to the program for the same price as a lifetime guarantee, so long as you stay in there. Meaning, as I add all of the new courses to the program and add all of the new scheduling and everything for calls with me and all of that, you'll get all of the benefits for the same price. So early access is a very good deal. And I'm going to raise the price as I raise and continue to put in more value into the program. But if that's something you're interested in, you can go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram. That's the main product I'm trying to sell now. I'm switching off of the coaching, but I am still doing with the one-on-one coaching. If you would like to work with me directly, you can also DM me about the one-on-one coaching as well if you'd like. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the actual tools for productivity. So the number one productivity tool is focus. The reason why focus is so important is because to the degree of your attention is how much you will be able to output, right? So your attention, your ability to keep and fixate your focus on one thing at a time and keep it there and sustain that state of focus, the longer you can do this, the better. So the longer you maintain the state of focus, the better. Meaning, focus itself is one of the main productivity tools, because with focus, productivity becomes easy, it becomes natural, right? With focus, when you're able to concentrate on a task, your body will start to naturally go through the motions of doing the thing, right? You will find that if you are truly focused on something, you naturally just find yourself starting to do it, right? You will never be focused on something while almost just shying away from it. Otherwise, you aren't focused on it, right? You're focused on whatever it is you're going towards, right? Whatever you focus on, you will move towards. And that is a natural outcome. And so if you can maintain a state of focus on the work that you have to get done, it's going to make productivity that much easier, because that sustained focus is going to make you move in the direction of completing that task. And then so how do you use it? And then how do you build it? The main way you use focus is to sustain a state of effort, right? So what does this mean? This means that specifically for productivity's sake, the tool of focus is best used as a way of maintaining this state of effort. So when I'm engaging in a task, when I'm engaging in this YouTube video, there's been multiple times my brain has thought about something else, right? Something that has nothing to do with the video, something that would be distracting, something else I might want to be doing instead. Right now, how hungry I am, right? All of these different things trying to pull me away from the video. But to maintain the engagement in the video and to be able to complete the task at hand, what I do is I keep my focus on the video. I keep the focus on my words and what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, maybe watching myself on the camera, which is what I'm doing now, and seeing how my hands are moving, right? Making sure my hands are speaking in an accurate way and they're not confusing the audience, you know what I mean? Not doing random things. And you maintain these states of focus, and you maintain this attention towards what you're doing in the moment. And that way, it makes it easy to just dissolve these extra thoughts that come up, right? A random blip might come into my mind about earlier today or what I might want to do tomorrow or whatever. And what I can do is either I can think about that and I can ruminate on that and I can go into that, or what I can do is I can keep my focus here, keep my attention here. And that is what I would like to do, because the goal is to complete this task. And so to stay productive, to stay active, to keep doing what's important and what I need to do, I maintain my focus right here in what I'm doing right now. And the way you build focus, the best way is meditation. And the second best way is deep work, is just focusing on one task for an extended period of time, right? If you're a YouTuber, or substitute the task with something that makes sense for your business, or if you're an athlete or your sport, but substitute this. If you're a YouTuber, however, this example is perfect for you. And then, like I said, you can substitute the task for something else, but just sit down and write scripts for an hour or so. Like, write as many as you can. If you don't script your videos, even better. But then what I want you to do is I want you to sit down, press record, and make one video. And then do that. So sit down, press record, make one video, turn to the next page, or pull up the next script, or if you don't script, fine. And that video, and then start the next one immediately after. Or maybe like take a 30-second to a minute break and then start the next video. And do this for as long as you can. Don't try to like push and be like, oh, I'm gonna hit 10 videos. Just see how long you can maintain good focus for, right? See how long you can record videos for while maintaining a clear state of focus. And what you'll do is you'll find your current threshold, and then your goal is to just push it a little bit every day. So if your threshold is 3 videos that are 20 minutes long, that's an hour. Then you just push that threshold a little bit. Okay, let me try to make one more video tomorrow. And then the next day, let me try to make that 4th video again, and let me see if I can maintain my focus through it. And then if that feels good, okay, let me try a 5th one and see from there. And what this is doing is, A, you're gonna be producing a shit ton of content for your channel, so you're welcome. And then the next thing that this is going to do is this is going to train your focus. This is going to train your ability to stay in that flow state. It's going to train your ability to recenter into that flow state. So it's like if I'm recording for hours on end, sometimes I come here for 2 or 3 hours and record just straight through. My brain will constantly be trying to pull me away from the video because it almost seems boring. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's just, all right, press record. All right, welcome guys. No, I'm playing, but press record. All right, welcome, this video. And then I read off the script and I teach the information and then I end that one. And then it's, okay, welcome guys. This is the video. And then I explain all of the content in the video, so on and so forth. But it's boring and it's repetitive. However, it is very effective for training this ability to focus, this ability to recenter and direct your attention towards what you're actually trying to do and what you're actually trying to accomplish and achieve. And then so I'm just going to give you a few examples of things that kill focus. I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite, and please do not call me a hypocrite, but your phone. And the reason I say don't call me a hypocrite is because I'm staring at it right now, because it's what I record on. But with the exception of the fact that I record on my phone, I would not have it here. Well, and technically I use my hotspot as Wi-Fi, but I wouldn't have it out. If I didn't need either of those two things, which when I'm at home, I don't. And when I'm at home, I put it up on my shelf where it's just above eye level, so I can't see it. and it's across my room on the other side of my room. So if I wanted to get distracted by my phone, I would have to think about it, stand up out of my chair, walk across the room, reach for it, fumble around for it because I don't remember exactly where I put it and I can't see it, grab it, pull it out, go sit back down, and then turn it on and go and use it. Versus I'm working, and I'm trying to focus, but I see my phone go, and I get a notification, and it buzzed, right? It made the entire desk vibrate. So I noticed the notification, and then I'm thinking about it, and then I try to refocus, and then I'm still thinking about it, and then I end up grabbing my phone, and now I'm texting instead. So the phone is one big thing that will kill focus, right? Because there's so much you can do on the phone. There's so much types of stimulation that it's very difficult to say no to all of them, right? It might be easy to say no to scrolling on TikTok while you're working, but what if your boss texts you, right? It may seem like an important message at the time, and then you might justify pulling out your phone to check it. But in most cases, obviously, if your boss texts you something important, whatever, but in most cases, at least if you worked for me, I would be much happier if you complete your task with focus and then look at your phone to see what I'm talking about and what I might be telling you, unless I'm giving you updates about that task. That might suck. But either way, I would much rather you have a state of deep focus through completion of a task than to just reply to me as quickly as possible all the time. If I have you working on something I would deem as important, I would say that. I would much prefer you to be focused on the task than answering me as quickly as possible. All employers are different though, so obviously it is what it is. But if you work for yourself, it could be your girlfriend, it could be your mother, it could be anybody, right? But to most cases, I say if it is an emergency, they will call. And that's why my phone, I only get notifications from FaceTime and the phone app. So I only get notifications if somebody actively calls me, right? You have to call me. You can't text me. If you text me, you get a reply when I look at my texts. So I have to open my phone, open the messages app, and then find your text there and respond there. That way, I'm never getting notifications that would distract me randomly during work. This is why I can justify using my phone so much when I'm here, because I don't get any notifications on it. So it's like I'm recording on my phone, but there's no distractions. There's no incoming distractions from my phone. I haven't seen a single notification this entire time. And that's because I have them all off. And so therefore, I can use my phone without the same distraction. The other thing is my phone is completely set up for work as well. So there's no apps on my phone that would even be worth going and trying to distract myself with. I have my office chair right off to the side of me. I could take my phone and I could sit there and I could, go and doom scroll, but there's nothing to doom scroll on, right? I would just be looking through my apps. And to be fair, that's way more boring than what I'm doing right now. So I will refrain from that for sure, because there's just no point. There's no point distracting myself because I get so much joy and enjoyment from the work at hand. And that is another thing, right? And anything that kills focus is anything that kills dopamine, right? The less dopamine you have, the less easy it is to focus. If I didn't have the amount of dopamine I have right now, I wouldn't be able to focus on this. I wouldn't be able to say the same things about not wanting to go on my phone, right? Because I would probably be tempted to go on my phone. I probably would want to go and scroll on something or reply to some text messages or whatever. I might want that stimulation. But because the work I'm doing is the most stimulating thing going on right now, because my dopamine receptors are more sensitive. My dopamine receptors are more sensitive. So therefore, I'm able to receive much more focus and intensity in my focus from this task. And this task is more stimulating, so it's more enjoyable. So therefore, I have no problem keeping my focus and my attention here. Versus when you're overstimulated, your dopamine receptors are burnt out, it becomes way more difficult to focus on harder tasks because they require more. They require more effort, and so therefore they require more dopamine sensitivity. When you have no dopamine sensitivity, you no longer want to put in the effort for things, and therefore something like this would seem very difficult. And so the last thing that kills focus is a bad diet. If you are eating any types of sugar, processed foods, like, what's the word? Any unhealthy fats. So like, seed oils, for example. That was the thing I was looking for, seed oils. But like seed oils, sugar, and any processed foods, they're basically just going to slow your brain down and make it harder to focus. There's no like real like deep science behind this one. It's just when you are eating these types of food, when you're not eating whole, unprocessed foods, your brain just works a little bit slower, and it's much harder to maintain focus. There's not much you can do about this in the moment, just because, it's a biological thing, except force yourself to focus, force yourself to recenter, and remember that the reason you're experiencing this is because of the choices you made when you decided to eat, whatever, the donut, the whatever, candy bar from the store, whatever you eat that you would consider to be junk food. Your decision to do that is impacting your productivity and how you feel. And so just choose to not do that the next time. There's not much you can do in the moment, though, like I said. And yeah, like I said at the beginning of this point, there's not much to this. It's just, it does make it more difficult to focus because of the effects it has on your brain. So the next tool that I have for productivity is called the habit tracker. I've talked about this in a couple of videos of mine, but I haven't made a full video on it yet, which I will. That video is coming out eventually. I'm still working on it because I'm working on my own habit tracker and stuff, and I'm kind of trying to find the best way to stick to these habits and maintain certain habits. So once I feel like I have all the tools necessary to make that video, I'm going to do that. But for now, I'm going to give it to you as a tool for productivity because I've found that it's one of the best. So the reason why is because habits trump all. So it does not matter how productive you are today. It matters how many days in a row you can do that. Right? It matters how many days in a row that you can be productive. I just made a video on consistency. Maybe I might not have. I did make one. I don't know if I uploaded it or not. So if that's on my channel, go ahead and watch that. It will help. If it's not on my channel, I'm sorry. Because it was kind of valid for this point specifically, but I will go ahead and explain it in detail. Basically, when you could do all of the work that you need to do to complete a task, right? I could probably record 7 videos today and then complete at least 1 or 2 of my courses for my program, all in the one day. Like that's if I just sat down and worked through the day. But if I just did that today, tomorrow I didn't do anything else, I wouldn't actually make progress towards my goal. I would argue that you'll make more progress more quickly if you break that down into 1 video per day throughout a course of a week and make that course over the course of a week, right? So 2 courses broken down into 7 days, 7 videos broken down into 7 days. The same amount of work, but I believe the consistency of maintaining that effort throughout the week will help you to progress more and progress faster than anything else. So what does this mean? This means that to do something once is great, right? If you do something productive once, awesome. But to see progress, to see results, you need to do it consistently over a long period of time. And the best way to do this is to make it a habit. If you make it a habit, then it just becomes a natural impulse each and every single day. And all you have to do at that point is not fight that impulse and work with it instead. And actually go ahead and follow through on that habit and maintaining that habit. When developing a habit, there will be some days where it's difficult, there will be some days where it's easy. But if you stick to it every single day, eventually you will develop this habit. And by maintaining this habit, if it's a habit of deep work every single day, or if it's a habit of training, whatever it may be, you make a habit of your deep work block every single day. then you will be able to stick to it for longer, and you will be able to produce more, you'll be more productive. The other thing is that habits will make it easier to do the work, because when you have a habit of showing up at 6 a.m., getting all of your stuff together in order, and pressing record, well, now all you need to do is insert a new script every single time, right? So now all I need to do is turn the page and make sure I'm on a new script, and then go and make the video, right? Versus if I show up once out of the week, it's going to be more difficult. I'm going to have more resistance to it. I don't want to go, where's all my stuff at, all these different things. It might take longer to get into that flow state, versus when you have the habit, you show up, you know what's up, and it's just time to go. And that makes it so much easier to focus on the effort, focus on the output, and therefore be more productive in that block of time. And so the way you build habits is by deciding first what the habit is going to be. Then you have to decide when and where you're going to do it. So I'll use this deep work example. I'm going to do deep work of recording every single morning at 7 a.m. Because I like 7 for recording for some reason. Just when the sun comes up and I can, go for a nice little drive, show up here, do some recording. Wake up earlier, get some stuff done, and then show up here. That's what I found is the best time for me. So do the same thing for yourself. Find what the best time for you is as well. And then, so you've decided on the habit, deep work, recording. Then you decide on the time and the place. Okay, at the office at 7 a.m. Okay, now I have time and place. I have what I'm doing, I have when I'm doing it, and I have where I'm doing it. Now, you actually just have to do it, but you have to do it every single day. So it doesn't matter how long you go for. It matters that you show up, you do the activity, so you press record, you make a video. If it's a shit video and you delete it afterwards, fine, but you've made the video. And then you go home and you fuck off for the rest of the day, or you have more work to do, or you go train, right? You do whatever you're going to do, but you just focus on get this block of work done in the morning, and then you do the same thing the next morning, and then you do that same thing the next morning, and over time you'll find two things happen. You'll find, one, it becomes easier to show up, and two, you'll find that it actually becomes easier to stay longer and longer each day. And so this is where you want to find yourself. You want to find yourself both finding it easy to show up, but also finding it easier to stay longer, finding yourself actually having more output, right? Actually having more you can put into the video or whatever it is you're doing. And then so once you have built these habits, once you have built a habit of deep work or a habit of meditation every day or exercise, right? Now you use the habit tracker. And so what the habit tracker is I write it out per month. I write out the month and the year. I write out the list of habits at the top. Maybe I'll show like an example or something in another video when I talk about this again. I feel like it'd be a good reference. But you do your list of habits at the top. And then for every line under that list of habits, I do it on the far side. You number it 1 through 31, depending on how many days are in that month. So it's like June has 30 days, so I'll mark it 1 to 30 this month. So on and so forth. So you do all the numbers, and then you do the boxes all the way down. And what this does is it's basically just a tick box for every time you complete the habit. So every time you do the habit, every time you stick to it, you check the box. And then at the end of the month, you look back and you see, okay, these boxes I was able to check, these boxes I was not. This habit I was consistent in, this habit I wasn't as consistent in. Or maybe these 2 weeks I was pretty consistent, but then this week I fell off a little bit, and then I got back on, but I was still semi-inconsistent. Whatever, right? So you analyze it and you figure out what were you consistent in and what were you not consistent in, what do you need to work more on, and what are you doing well in. And then, so you just use that to maintain the habits. And this is also a reference for each day. You look at it each day and you remember, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And it becomes easier to think about those habits throughout the day because you have this reminder. You read it in the morning, you're like, okay, I have my meditation, I have my deep work, I have my exercising, I have some stretching. Cool. And then as you're going throughout the day, you might be thinking like, oh, now's probably a good time to sit down and do a little meditation. Or, I just got my deep work done, let me go to the gym. And, I just got home from the gym, just had a nice meal, let me do my stretching. And you have this natural inclination to think about the things and do them throughout the day because you have this reminder from the habit tracker. And if you check off 2 habits, for me at least, what I notice is as soon as I check off 2 habits, I want to check off the next one. So like this morning, I checked off my meditation and my journaling for my morning routine. And then I wanted to go and check off my deep work pretty much right after. And that was the natural response was, okay, now I want to do the next task. Now I want to do the next task. And so this helps you to stay in a productive mindset as well. And that helps you to maintain it throughout the day a lot easier. So that is all I have for you guys. If you're interested in the Academy of Self-Mastery, you can go down to the link in the description, and like I said, you can DM me, and if you want to work one-on-one with me, you can go ahead and do the same thing and just let me know, hey, I want one-on-one work, or hey, I want early access to the program. But other than that, that is all from me, and I'm out of here. Peace.